The floorboards of the new boat looked pretty good, but up in the head and shower area, there had been a small leak under the head sink, quite hidden, which over the course of 5 or 10 years had actually caused a lot of water to seep in there, even fill some of the gaps under the floorboards themselves. And here's the result. Heavy delamination of the 5/8 inch marine plywood that supports the invaluable 1/8 inch teak and holly laminate that these boats had. And as you know, that teak and holly laminate is no longer available in the same pattern, and even if it were, you wouldn't have the same tone and look as the original 1984 version. So let's try to save it with a product called layup and laminating epoxy resin, specifically designed for this kind of purpose and manufactured by the Smith Company as well as others. I talked to Steve Smith about this, and he said that gravity is your friend in using this product, which is viscous but a little thinner than a lot of the resins we use. I just separated the delaminated portions as best I could and poured in as much of the resin as it would take. It takes a good deal, as a matter of fact. Smith suggested rotating the piece so that gravity would have time to work. It's kind of like making a mud pie as a kid. Makes a terrible mess, too, so everything ought to be covered in plastic, which the stuff won't stick to, as you know. I put 2 full cans of this laminating epoxy into these separated sections, and in 10 or 15 minutes it disappears, wicking itself way down inside this preposterously bad delamination. Before mixing up the resin, I prepared 2 very heavy boards cut to the same pattern as the floorboard piece. And when the floorboard was completely saturated, place a piece of 4mm plastic over the bottom piece, line up the saturated floorboards, cover with another 4mm plastic piece, and put the top of the sandwich on. Now, I always carry a 30-pound bag of chain in my pocket next to the rigging knife, but in any case, you'll need some kind of concentrated heavy weight to press the 2 outside pieces of plywood down, and then as many clamps as possible around the edges. "24 hours later, let's see what we've got. I've never done this before, no idea how it's going to come out. I do know that those floorboards are pretty much invaluable. Interesting. It's like unwrapping a Christmas present. This kind of resin is very tough but a little bit flexible, sort of like petrified gummy bears. And Steve Smith was pretty adamant about leaving extra 4mm plastic so that the squeeze out would be caught by it. Say, that old delaminated plywood is hard as a rock now. No damage at all to the laminate on top.